Welcome, welcome in. I am excited about having you here on this fantastic Tuesday. You know, we come every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, to just give you a power call, a power boost for the morning. Go ahead and share the link out. Let everybody know that Dr. Clarke is live and we are going to go forth in what we do every morning, every Tuesday morning. We go and we push in to understand, girl, you cute. All right. So let's go into it. If you have your book, I have a declaration right there on the second page, and you can just follow along with me. But this time, I want you to take a nice, slow, deep breath into the nostrils and exhale it out. Take a nice, slow, deep breath into the nostrils once again and exhale it out. The Speak Your Power Now declaration. Today, I reclaim my power of purpose. Take that in. Today, I declare that I have unshakable faith and confidence in my uniqueness. Today, I declare that I will not live in fear, but with power, love, and a sound mind. Today, I declare that I always communicate with words to empower myself and others. Today, I declare to honor myself by living in the present and living powerfully in each moment. Amen and Ashe. I want to thank you all for joining me on today. It's an amazing time to be alive. I think it's an amazing time to be alive. I hope you thinking the same. And I'm excited about today's call. Today's call is going to be very, very interesting because I'm going to take something that was real time happening. I had a whole nother call happening, but I was watching Good Morning America. Yes, shout out to Good Morning America. I'll be on there one day talking about girl, you cute. I was on looking at, I was getting ready to come downstairs and they ran a story. They ran a story this morning about the newly crowned uh, Miss Universe, Tasha Brosh. I'm sorry, Fatima Bosh. Let me get that right. And I want to talk about the times what just happened to her that may have happened to many women of color. She's from Mexico, and this is what happened. So today's call is going to be frameworked around the word dumb. When they call you dumb, I want you to turn that insult into identity power. See, that is what they may have called you. But she decided to not take that on, that she would be called that. You got to make a decision. I know that word lived for me for many years. If you read the book, if you understand my journey, if you understand my story through childhood, through school, through life, years of before I recognized that I was not dumb. That word dumb, I talk about it in the book. I talk about how teachers didn't understand me. I talked about how adults dismissed me. I talked about how the system designed not to see my brilliance because I had dyslexia. And especially because my brilliance was wrapped in my brown skin and my brown thick skin, I will say. And here's the thing, when I hear that word over and over and over and over and over for me, it used to trigger me. And you know something, what I had to understand, what I had to literally understand, I had to start saying what my truth was. So when I saw what happened to Miss Universe Mexico today, Fatima Bosh, you go look her up. Her last name is spelled Bosch. That is a grown woman standing in her purpose, standing in her beauty, going for that. I love beauty pageants, and this is something that she was standing in her confidence. And at the in the room, the man I think was in charge of the organization or in charge of um, whatever section she was doing began to call her dumb by the executive publicly on stage. They're about to go and out the group and go out. I felt that in my chest this morning. They was interviewing her. They said, "How did that make you feel?" It wasn't about the pageant anymore, she said. It was about how she felt not seen, how she felt like and you know what she did? Let me tell you what she did. The brilliance of Fatima. Yes. She walked out. She said, "I was not going to stand in a room." This Latina sister, she said, "I was not going to stand in a room where this man is going to call me dumb and try to berate me publicly in front of my peers." Every woman now, every brown and black woman, she made a statement. Every brown and black woman, she see that smile and that something tries to take it. And that's exactly why I wrote Girl You Cute. Because he tried to labor her. But she decided, and you have a decision to make in your own self to say what I'm going to do. And guess what? She went on to win Miss Universe. And then they try to spin it again. They try to say, "Oh, it's because of her father. It's because of what she did." And I said, "You know what? Guess what? She was seeing, she showed her power. She spoke her power now. You were not going to insult me." So I want you to look at why dumb would hurt so deeply. Let's break it down psychologically, okay? Now, I just want to let you know, if you this is your first time here, welcome, Dr. Cheryl Clarke. I'm really passionate about this particular topic today. I'm telling you I had a different topic, but when I saw that, I said, I need to shift. Why does dumb stick to your soul? Or any derogative term that comes along with that, right? Because it tries to attack your identity, not the behavior. See, your identity for brown and black women. And we've been insulted throughout history. You're too much. You don't get it. You just better calm down. You're just so difficult. You're too emotional. And see, the pathological way of doing this. How do I now see myself? How do I see my intelligence through these insults? You sort of pathologize this, right? So everything, when this man tried to do this publicly to this beautiful Latina woman and call her dumb, his insult was not just to her. I felt it in my bedroom. Like something rose up in me, and I said, I gotta change what I'm getting ready to talk about this morning. It's insulting a lineage of us as women, as brown and black women. It's a pattern, a legacy of silencing our brilliance of women of color. And those power control narratives, unless you take your power back, unless you speak up and use your voice, guess what? Because she did, a whole lot of women followed her because she said, "I'm going to stand in my power, and I am not going to stand in this room while you try to berate me." See, that moment, she stepped out and she drew a line. How about you attempt to draw a line for yourself? This is where Girl You Cute comes in at. Because cute is not about the book or about appearance. It's about the code word. I would say, let's do an acronym for cute today. How competent I am to stand and to be able to communicate. How the you can be for maybe unshakable and understanding that I matter. The T is that I'm going to transform this system that try to keep me trapped. You see, I'm using these T's like this. And E, let me show you how I can express myself eloquently. To let you know that you don't have the power over me. Now, they were like, "Dr. Cheryl, what's into you today?" Because I got my power back. I want you to put that in there. I want you to say, I got my power. See, that word dumb isn't about intelligence. I want you to get that. It's about control. This is why I said the cultural silencing. Maybe if I call her dumb, she can shrink. Maybe if I call her dumb, or maybe if I call her stupid, or maybe I call her too much, she will begin to shrink. That version of yourself, I want you to know that Fatima did not shrink, and neither will you. So, this story that I'm spotlighting today, this story that I'm highlighting today, I want to use Fatima's walk of dignity to walk out of there in a space like she did. And I want you to see what it looks like for you to be a part of something, be a part of something that I know that you can. Because his public insult called for her to say, hmm, I have a choice here. Now I want you to sit with this for a moment when I tell you this. You're going to be in a room where you may feel dismissed. You're going to be in a room where you're going to find yourself not being the one that's feel like you're the one for the job. I want you to look at that. And you may be publicly insulted. That cause of some insecurity that may happen and try to force you to even stop even if it continuing on with the race. She did not let that crumble. She did not cry. She did not beg. She walked out with her head up high, her dignity still intact, her composure with power. And sometimes that's extraordinary enough. Then the other contestants begin to walk out with her. That's solidarity. That's how you get to begin to look at yourself and say, listen, I got this. You may not understand it. You may not understand what that looks like, but I got that when I saw that. I knew that. Being courage, having courage. Listen, having courage for the other women, and I clapped to the other women that followed her. That was courageous. You know, when you start doing something in integrity, it starts to be magnetic. And people start to lead that. You start to go, and leadership is loud. So I want you today to use your voice. I want you today. She wasn't loud or boisterous or anything. She just stood in her power. And when you choose you, I want you to choose you today. Give yourself permission today. It's not about the word dumb. It's about us. It's about many of us was called dumb, slow, dramatic, difficult, too emotional, too loud, too you then you're not how about this? You're not leadership material. And now we've earned degrees, we got raised our families, we communicating, we have community served, we've written books, we spoke on stages, some of us, we built businesses, but that little girl inside of us still reminds us sometimes, just like that moment that Miss Universe had, that moment that Fatima had. It reminds us, it's a reminder. Who are not, you are not what they call you. You are who you are become, and despite of what they call you. So I want you to look at something today. I want you to look at your world today. Where are you shrinking from an old word? That word dumb stood up in me. That was my old word. And I knew I had to come today. And this is where you can begin to see where I am not no longer shrinking, that I am no longer holding on to any old insults. It is in the relationship that your voice, your job, your leadership, your confidence. Now let's say this slowly, because I need to get for it to get into your nervous system. I need you to hear it. That word does not own me, whatever that word is for you. Who I am is bigger than what they call me. I define my brilliance, not them. And girl, you cute. You don't have to shrink. I want you to do an agreement today for yourself. Speak over yourself that your voice is safety and that your voice is necessary to begin to move powerfully. So I hope this power call, and I'm going to open up for anything that anybody has to say. Welcome, Bonnie. Bonnie says it was courageous for her to walk out. The women who walk with her didn't allow groupthink, yes, to take over. Absolutely. And groupthink is when a whole, something. I'll say this. When you are looking at from a space, and anybody would like to chime in at this point, this is where I open up the mic for anybody that would like to say anything at this point. You can go ahead and do that now and open up it for coaching or anything. This is where I want to talk about when groupthink tries to silence you. Also, it makes you small because what they could have done is like one idea comes up and then everybody starts to get on the bandwagon of this, right? Whenever you're in a room, when something happens and the disrespect happens or microaggression happens, right, and everybody stays silent. Mm-mm. No, this is where you can begin to understand and decide what you're going to do. This is what you're going to decide, and this is where you can begin to move powerfully in the moment. Anybody would like to say this is your moment here?
Yes, Dr. Cheryl. Good morning. What I would like to add to that also is we have to be okay with being misunderstood because we've been called combative, aggressive, and angry for so long that in those moments where we should and are supposed to speak up, we may back down because we don't want to be labeled as angry. We don't want to be labeled as combative, even though that moment is proper where
Mm.
something should be said.
That's brilliant. And welcome, Bonnie. This is your first time here this morning. That was
Mm,
excellent.
thank you. Yes, first time.
Yeah. Let me just say something. She's absolutely right. We have to be okay with being misunderstood because everybody's not going to get you. See, the personal stories that I shared in there, and then Fatima with this, I want you to know that women of color are punished for being powerful at times and misunderstood for attempting to tell our truth. And then we get labeled as being aggressive. We're being labeled. But did you know what? Guess what? In this time, I want you to look at how you can begin to take your power back. See, I grew up internalizing the word dumb, not because I was, but because the adults in my environment kept calling me dumb. And the systems didn't have the tools to understand me. So being misunderstood became a part of my identity, right? I performed differently. I over explained. I tried to fit in. All those things. And guess what? Guess what Miss Universe said to us on a global stage? Misunderstood, dismissed, and disrespected. Let me show you what I'm gonna do with you. Let's I'm out. And sometimes you gotta stand in your power. And this is proof that it's okay that you may not be understood in the moment, but you understand you. Powerful, powerful. Anybody else that would like to say anything in this time? This is your space. This is your moment to share anything. Thank you. Well, all right. It seems like this already hearts and mind are clear today. I want to thank you all for joining me on today. I always come just for a little tidbit, just for a little power call today. Let me just make sure no one is typing into the chat. I don't see any messages there. So I want you to take your power. I want you to stand in your power today. I want you to speak with power, move with power, because, girl, you cute. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Dr. Cheryl Clarke signing off. Until next Tuesday at 8 a.m. I see you, Lachelle. Thank you, Dr. Bolton. God bless you. Have a blessed one.
You are enough. Your voice is divine. Now speak.